The Pacific Ocean, so vast you could fit every continent inside and still have room to spare. Out there, two giants face off. The US Navy, reigning champion for a century, and China, once a coastal navy, now a shipbuilding powerhouse. The Americans cruise their aircraft carriers through hotspots like the Taiwan Strait, declaring, "These seas are for everyone." China draws a bold line around the South China Sea and says, "This is ours," building the muscle to back it up. Tension is thick. US destroyers are shadowed by Chinese warships. Radar sweeping, crews watching, no words needed. It's a silent standoff. One misstep from disaster. What's at stake? Trillions in trade, undersea cables, global influence, and the rules of the 21st century. For the first time since the Cold War, the US Navy faces a rival that could actually sink an American carrier. This isn't a drill. The world is watching, breath held. The Pacific is now the most dangerous chessboard on Earth. Every move is calculated, every encounter a test of nerve. The US projects power. China pushes back, determined to rewrite the rules. The balance of power is shifting, and the consequences could be global. The silent standoff is on, and the stakes couldn't be higher. The world's most powerful navies are locked in a new kind of Cold War, and the outcome will shape the century. For nearly 100 years, the US Navy has ruled the oceans, its power built on the aircraft carrier strike group. Each carrier is a floating fortress, 6,000 crew, its own airport, nuclear power, and enough firepower to change the course of history. With 10 carriers, America guarantees freedom of the seas, keeping global trade flowing and deterring threats worldwide. When crisis erupts, the first question is always, where are the carriers? This dominance has shaped global politics, kept wars at bay, and maintained a fragile peace. But being king breeds complacency. The US built its entire strategy around these unsinkable ships, assuming they could go anywhere, anytime. But what if someone builds a weapon that can sink them from hundreds of miles away? The American Leviathan has forgotten what it's like to face a real predator. Now that predator is circling. The age of unchallenged US naval supremacy is ending. China studied the US Navy and asked a chilling question: how do we sink an aircraft carrier? Their answer, the DF-21D, the carrier killer, a ballistic missile designed to hit moving ships at sea. Launched into the upper atmosphere, it plummets back at hypersonic speeds, using advanced sensors to find and strike a carrier's flight deck. The speed and precision make it nearly impossible to intercept. A single hit could turn a multi-billion-dollar symbol of American power into a burning wreck. China isn't stopping at one or two. They're building hundreds, creating a vast bubble of death off their coast. This is the heart of China's anti-access/area denial strategy. Keep us forces out, make it deadly for those who enter. The DF-21D and its big brother, the DF-26, have rewritten the rules of naval warfare. For the first time, US carriers are vulnerable from over 1,000 miles away. The game has changed. The carrier killer missile creates a nightmare for US admirals. To launch its planes, a carrier must get within 500 miles of its target, but the DF-21D can strike from over 900 miles away. Get close, and you're a target. Stay back, and you're useless. The mere existence of these missiles turns vast swathes of ocean into no-go zones for American carriers. China's strategy isn't just one missile, it's a coordinated volley, overwhelming defenses with waves of ballistic missiles and cruise missiles. The psychological toll is immense. Crews live under constant threat, morale erodes, and the old swagger is gone. The US Navy must rethink everything. The days of sailing anywhere, anytime are over. China has laid a deadly snare, and the eagle must tread carefully. The Pacific is now a minefield, one that moves and strikes without warning. The balance of power has shifted. The carrier's era of invincibility is over. The dragon's trap is set. Picture this. 2025. Tensions erupt over a disputed reef in the South China Sea. A Philippine vessel is sunk. The US sends a carrier group to respond. As the USS Ronald Reagan enters contested waters, China's missile forces go on high alert. Satellites, drones, and radar hunt for the carrier. Beijing issues a stark ultimatum: withdraw or face consequences. The world holds its breath. This is the Cuban Missile Crisis at sea. The US admiral faces an impossible choice: advance and risk annihilation, or retreat and shatter American credibility. Every radar blip could be a threat, every decision could spark war. Firing on a US carrier would mean war, possibly nuclear. Backing down would end the American era in the Pacific. Allies watch, wondering if the US will stand firm. The fate of the region and perhaps the world hangs on who blinks first. The digital battlefield is set, nerves stretched to the breaking point. The ultimate game of chicken is underway. Don't just take my word for it. Military leaders and analysts are deeply alarmed. Admiral Davidson warned Congress, China could move on Taiwan within years, not decades. War games by top think tanks show the US often loses, or wins only with devastating losses. Carriers are forced far from the fight. Air bases are wiped out in opening salvos. China is building ships, planes and missiles at a staggering pace, while the US debates budgets. The tyranny of distance favors China. It's their backyard, America's away game. China's informationized warfare links satellites, ships and missiles into a seamless kill chain. The US carrier must be perfect every time. China's missile only needs to get through once. The odds are grim, experts have run the numbers, and the math is frightening. The balance of power is shifting fast. The US Navy faces its toughest challenge in generations. The world's most powerful fleet is suddenly on the defensive. Is it over for the US Navy? Not yet. The Pentagon is adapting fast. The new strategy distributed maritime operations spread out, get harder to hit, and strike back from unexpected angles. Smaller carriers, unmanned ships, and stealthy subs form a web, not a fist. New interceptor missiles, lasers, and electronic warfare are in the works to counter China's missile threat. The Navy is also developing its own long-range missiles to hold Chinese targets at risk. The era of the supercarrier may be ending, but a new naval revolution is underway. The contest is now a race between missile and countermeasure, offense and defense. The outcome will decide who controls the world's vital waterways and the future of global power. The silent standoff in the Pacific is far from over. In fact, it's only just begun.